Hey guys, great to see you. Welcome back to another video. Thanks so much for joining me for this one. So recently we have been taking a look at open tunings and they've proved to be some really popular videos. So I'd like to thank you very much indeed for watching those. And I hope that you got something from them. And I'd like to carry on in a similar vein in this video. Only what we're going to do is take a look at the blues and how we can go from, say, some beginners ideas right up to some more advanced ideas. So very much like what we did in the previous lessons on open tunings. And of course, blues is a fantastic genre to get into if you haven't already taken a look at it, because we can get results very quickly, essentially, with what we're going to look at today. I'm going to talk you through the blues in the key of E. And what that essentially means, right, is that as usual, we have a 1 chord, a 4 chord and a 5 chord. And they're the three major chords taken from the key that we're going to use. Now in this case, if we're playing in the key of E, that's going to be an E, an A and a B or a B7, right? And there is such a lot that we can do with that, and so much classic blues has been played just using those three chords. So that seems like a great place to start. Now I've done lots and lots of videos on blues, and you can check those out if you have a little bit of a look through my channel. You'll see some playlists that are just dedicated to blues. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out, like I say, with the beginner in mind and how you can very quickly get results with the blues. Okay, so let me show you the chords that we're going to need to play for our blues in the key of E. We're going to play our E shape like this. Now that's probably different to what you're used to, because I guess in all likelihood you're going to be used to playing an E like this, all right? But like I say, we're just going to use our index finger on the 2nd fret. Now it looks like I'm barring pretty much all the strings there, but really all we're concerned about is the 4th and the 5th strings, right? And we're going to play this 6th string open. And the reason for this is that we don't need to bar them all, is because all we're going to be playing are the 6th, the 5th and the 4th strings when we're playing the E chord. Also what this means, this little shape, is that when we want to play our 4 chord, the A chord, all we need to do is just drop this down 1 string and open up that 5th string, so it's now open, the A string, and that will be our A chord. Now when we play the A chord, the only strings we'll be playing are the 5th, the 4th and the 3rd. All right, and we will avoid this top string. All right, and then for our 5 chord, we'll just be playing a B7, like so. All right, and of course all the chords are there for you to check out. Right, so that's all we need. So what we're going to be looking to do, and this is based upon Before You Accuse Me, which is taken from the Eric Clapton album Unplugged. And like many of the things I've shown you in the previous videos, I've done a lesson on everything that I'm going to show you today. All right, so we're just going to touch on some of these ideas, and then when you come across something you really would like to pursue, you can just check down below or up here and you'll have a link to the lesson. So this is essentially how Before You Accuse Me goes. All right, now the beauty of this is that we can play it with a plectrum or with our fingers, and essentially it just goes like this. We're just playing a shuffle. Just like that, right? And you can do this kind of stuff, guys. It's just a little bit of practice. B7 there, 2A, and E. Back to the 5 chord for the turnaround there. And you know, once you can do that, you're going to be in a position to really move forward and play lots and lots of blues. So let's take a closer look at what's happening, right? Like I say, when we're playing the E position, we're just going to be concentrating, by and large, the 5th and 6th, but occasionally we might hit the 4th, right? So we're just going 1 and 2. Now you'll notice that this ring finger is going down onto the 4th fret, 5th string to create our shuffle, which is what we're trying to do here. All right, so we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. However you prefer to count it, really. You can do the 1 and 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ring finger's on the 2 and the 4. So that's what you're looking to try and get down when you're playing your E chords. Now, like I say, when we go to the A, we just drop that little position down there and we play same thing, right? Ring fingers going down on beats 2 and 4, right? And then we go to our B7 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4 to A, 2, 3, 4 and E. 2, 3, 4. Now the way we get a nice blues sound is to dampen the strings. If we were not dampening, we would get quite an open sound, which would sound like this. And that might be what you want, okay? But if you'd like to dampen it, all you need to do is put this part of your hand on the strings here as we're playing. And you'll get more of a dampened sound. Okay, so choice is yours. I would suggest that you experiment with both of those things and try and get proficient at doing it both ways. So that was with a pick, right? Now, conversely, I could just be using my thumb. It's a kind of softer sound. Like so. Now, like I say, once you can play that once round, that's all the song really does. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a verse and then you'll have something to work with. All right, so we have, before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. You better run around other women, take a money from someone else. Okay, so that's what you're looking to do. And of course, if you'd like to learn the song, just click up there and you can go and do that. Now, the beauty of playing this blues in E means that you can get results very quickly, as I pointed out. And once you're comfortable with that shuffle, you can start adding things which will really bring your blues alive. So for example, you can play intros like and if you tag that onto the beginning of your blues, all of a sudden you give it a really big lift. And if you're interested in that little intro, you can click down below and there'll be a video showing you how to play that. Now, conversely, to play a turnaround also brings something to the table as well. So once you've done your kind of once round with the verse, let's say, and we come to the B7, to the A, and then to the E. So you see, intros, turnarounds, all of these things lift the blues that little bit more, make it a little bit more interesting. But just take your time. You can do any of this stuff, guys. Just a little bit of practice is all that's required, okay? Now, you may be thinking, well, that's, relatively simple stuff, but you can take this to a different level altogether. So you can start playing things, say, in the style of some of the real giants of blues, like Robert Johnson and people like that. He played blues in E as well, and Sweet Home Chicago was one of those kind of songs that he played. And it just shows you how you can take a basic blues and develop it to the next level. So if you really fancy a challenge, you can take a look at some of my videos showing you how to get this type of groove down in a Robert Johnson type of style. And what I'd like to do is just give you a flavour of that, because like I say, you can go learn any of these things that I'm going to show you today. So he would kind of play a little different intro. Hey, baby. back to the land of California, to my sweet home Chicago. So you can see how you can take a basic blues and really start sounding very sophisticated indeed. So this is something I would definitely suggest you take a look at and try and take your blues that little bit further. Depending upon where you're at with your playing and things, you can start out with some of the basics like we looked at, or you can look to develop it that little bit more. Okay, now another way that we can play the blues in E, but make it sound quite different to what we've just been looking at there, is to play different chord voicings. And you know, in layman's terms, what that means is to play the same chords in a different position on the neck. So rather than playing our E chord here, like we just were there, we can take a D chord, which is something you'll probably be familiar with, right? And we can just move that up 2 frets and that becomes an E. And we can use this top string with it, because that's E, right? So we can play, and rather than playing, say, a B7 down here, we can play a B7 here. And then we can just use this A that we looked at in our shuffle for this and play. Alright, so now we've gone into different positions. We're maintaining the A position, but we've looked at a new way of playing an E and a new way of playing a B7. And this all increases our knowledge and makes us better players in the long term, right? Because we can think outside the box a little bit more. So this is a beautiful song by Big Bill Broonzy. And I'll just play you a little section, and this is definitely a little bit more advanced, but like I say, you can do all of this stuff, guys, if you're prepared to just be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and realize that it just takes practice. Really, that's all you need to bear in mind. So this one goes like this. Okay, and again, there's a link to the lesson down below and up above here, and that's called Mississippi River Blues by Big Bill Broonzy. Now, I was using my fingers there. Let's see how far we can go with a pick, because I know that many of you just use a pick, so I want to try and help you as well. So you see, you can go a long way and kind of do quite a lot with a pick. But there's definitely a cut-off point whereby it becomes really, really tricky to do certain things. So that covers quite a lot of bases there. We've looked at a shuffle, which is something you definitely want to get down. It will take you a long way and, as I say, open many, many blues songs to you. Now, like I say, using your fingers will definitely make you a better player in the long term. And don't worry if you sometimes feel like it's going to slow you down a little bit. Sometimes that's the kind of things we go through as a musician. It's almost like we take a couple of steps backwards before we go forwards again. And that's permissible. That's completely acceptable, all right? Because if it means we're going to improve in the long term, then it's certainly worth us thinking about that. And so just to give you an idea of something else that you can play with your fingers, which is a great song, which again Clapton played on his Unplugged album, and it goes like this. So you probably get the idea, right? And again, you know, when you look at it as a whole, you might be kind of quite daunted about these type of things. But like I've said in my previous videos, part of the kind of secret to working these things out, if you like, is to just break them down into small parts and then work with those. And if you do it that way, you're much more likely to get positive results, yeah, because you can just look at a bit like that. You might just, you know, work your way through that. And then you might add. Then you'd add that, right? You think, wow, okay, well that's manageable, I can do that, right? So I'll practice that for a while. Then you move on to the next bit. Suddenly, you're kind of getting results, right? So, like I say, it's all about just taking your time and working your way through these type of ideas very slowly. Now, I'm going to put a selection of videos down below to help you with your blues journey if you decide to make a start, or perhaps you already have, right? And you're just looking to improve a little bit. I'm going to put a selection of videos down below, as I say, which I feel will really help take your blues to the next level, as well as helping beginners get started and do some of those basic things. And of course, please share your feedback with me and let me know if you'd like me to continue on with these type of lessons. There's a long way we can go with the blues, and I'm just sticking to E, the key of E at the moment, because it's such a flexible key. And like I say, you can get very quick results in the key of E. So I think that's a great place to start. So I'd just like to thank everybody for watching, and it really helps me out such a lot if you click on the like and the subscribe. I really would appreciate that, and share your feedback down below. It's always great to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you all soon with a new lesson. In the meantime, you take care.